Hey Adam, you're always going on about need to know versus nice to know. Could you give us a practical example? Well, my friends, well, do I have an example for you. Let's talk about the act of driving a vehicle. Driving a vehicle. No reason. Let's think about need to know information. Well, if you're going to teach somebody, train somebody on how to drive a vehicle, operate a motor vehicle, you're going to want to talk about the basic function and mechanics of driving. If you press down on the accelerator, the vehicle moves forward. If you press on the brake, the vehicle comes to a stop. If you turn the wheel that way, it goes that way, etc., etc. You're probably also going to want to talk about the laws governing operating a motor vehicle. So things like speed limits and things like this that govern operating vehicles in your area. You're probably going to want to also talk to them about basic fundamental safety, keeping two hands on the wheel, looking in your mirrors before you turn, scanning the horizon for possible obstacles, look in the mirror before you back up, all of these sorts of things. Those are going to be need to know topics. You can't be expected to operate a motor vehicle without knowing those topics. So let's talk a little bit about nice to know. Well, this vehicle that I'm in now is manufactured by the Honda Motor Company. The road that I'm traveling on is a state highway, not an interstate highway. If this vehicle were standard shift, in other words, I had to use a clutch and a gear shift to put it into gear, there is a technique to do that called heel and toe. The radio in this vehicle is an aftermarket radio. So those are some great examples of nice to know information. If I was teaching somebody how to drive, I have to focus on the need to know, because without that information, there's no chance. It'd be hopeless for them to actually get in a vehicle and go from A to B. The nice to know, well, that adds to their information, it adds to their understanding, but if I skipped over it, it's not like that would prevent them from driving from A to B. You can absolutely pilot a motor vehicle safely without knowing the manufacturer of the vehicle or the type of radio in the car. So nice to know versus need to know. Focus on the need to know. The more you do that, the more chance of meeting the session objective that you have. The more nice to know information you include, the more you run the risk of distracting your learners from really knowing the need to know and possibly remembering something that really isn't all that relevant. What are some other need to know versus nice to know information points that you could include? Let me know. Leave me a comment down below.